Hey guys, it's Matty Hill from Sparesbox here, and today I'm going to be installing a Ryco X111R fuel water separator and catch can kit to my Nissan Navara. Fitting a catch can extend the life of the engine by keeping the air intake clean and allowing the engine to continue to run at optimum power. The Ryco fuel water separators provide an additional protection for standard fuel filters and diesel delivery systems as they remove water and contaminants from the fuel. Considering I'm constantly towing a race car around with my Navara, hauling anywhere up to 3 tonne or more, it's really important that I make sure the Navara is running reliably and efficiently at all times. This Ryco engine protection kit for Nissan Navara, such as my D23 MP300, comes complete with a fuel water separator and Ryco catch can, as well as specifically moulded hoses, brackets, fuel lines and hose clamps. Each of these components is engineered for a neat install that looks like it arrived this way from the factory. Finally, I do recommend that this kit is installed by an experienced mechanic with the procedures shown in this video. I'm looking forward to having this kit in the nav, so let's get stuck into it.
Begin by removing the 2 nuts securing the factory wiring harness bracket. Now, locate the threaded hole on the sidewall. Position the bracket in the engine bay as shown, placing the lower part of the bracket onto the factory studs and the top leg of the bracket onto the sidewall. Refit the factory wiring harness bracket onto the top of the Ryco bracket foot. Loosely refit the factory M6 nuts onto the studs at the bracket foot, and then fit the supplied M6 bolt and washer onto the sidewall and tighten all fasteners. The bracket should have no movement and feel secure. Next, we will prepare the Z980 fuel water separator for fitment. You will need the 2 blanking plugs supplied with the fuel water separator kit and the 2 quick connectors supplied with the Ryco kit. Identify the side of the fuel water separator head to be blanked off by dummy feeding it in place as shown. Apply the supplied sealant to the thread of the blanking plugs and quick connectors. Fit them and ensure they are tight. We recommend placing the head into a bench vise to complete this part of the installation and allow at least 20 minutes for the Loctite to cure. Now it's time to install the fuel water assembly onto the Ryco bracket using the 2 black M10 bolts and washers supplied. Make sure both bolts are done up tight. We will now prepare the Ryco fuel hose. Install the supplied hose clamps and elbow connectors onto each end of the fuel hose. One elbow connector opening is now facing downwards and another one is facing the radiator in a horizontal position. Install the fuel hose by connecting the horizontal facing elbow connector onto the outlet of the Ryco fuel water separator until you hear it click. Do not connect the other elbow connector to the factory fuel filter yet. You will need an assistant to help prime the fuel system. Connect the factory fuel supply line to the input port on the Ryco fuel water separator. Place the container under the unconnected elbow connector. Prime the fuel system by turning the ignition to an on position, but do not crank the engine. Wait until fuel comes out from the elbow connector. Turn off the ignition and connect the elbow connector to the factory fuel filter. The final step for the fuel water separator installation is to start the engine and inspect the hose, filter and fittings for any leaks. Before mounting the catch can, loosen the 4 retaining screws of the RCC351 and rotate the head 90 degrees to ensure the catch can upper port is facing the windscreen and the lower port is facing towards the engine. Now mount the catch can onto the bracket by sliding the RCC351 nylon bracket onto the catch can mounting location. Remove the engine cover where applicable. Locate the factory PCV hose and loosen the OEM hose clamp located at the engine PCV port. Remove the OEM PCV hose from the engine port and remove the OEM hose clamp from this end of the hose and replace it with the supplied Ryco hose clamp. Fit the supplied hose clamps to both the supplied Ryco moulded PCV hoses, noting that the hoses have different sized ends. Install the elbow end of the Ryco moulded hose onto the engine PCV valve and fit it along the back of the engine, ensuring it also runs under the factory fuel pipe. Connect the larger end to the lower port of the RCC351, securing both ends with the supplied hose clamps. Connect the longer end of the moulded hose with the supplied hose joiner and secure with a supplied hose clamp. Route the moulded hose behind the metal factory fuel filter bracket and on top of the other PCV hose as shown. Secure both ends of these with the hose clamp supplied. Connect the factory PCV hose onto the other end of the hose joiner and ensure that it's secured correctly. Make sure all the Ryco supplied moulded hoses aren't squashed and are free of any kinks. Finally, connect the shorter end of the Ryco moulded hose onto the upper port of the catch can as shown. Lastly, inspect that all hose clamps are secure. To install the drain hose, remove the drain plug from the bottom of the catch can, take out the rubber seal from the plug and refit. Insert the drain hose and secure it with the supplied hose clamp. Insert the hose drain tap to the other end and use the zip ties to secure the hose. To drain, pull back the red section until all oil has drained out.
Well guys, that's it for the Ryco engine protection kit install as brought to you by Sparesbox. I hope you enjoyed the video, and for more info on these kits and why they are really important for your vehicle, check out the links below. Thanks for tuning in, I'm Matty Hill and I look forward to seeing you again soon.